right, folks, looks like everybody made it here tonight, so. In just a minute, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we get into it, though, if you have a phone, if I might be so bold as to ask you to check it, see if it's in silent and off or in your car, your choice. We greatly appreciate it. So we're going to start with a pledge to our flag and a moment of prayer, and then we'll get right into the meeting. So if you'll join me standing, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we come to you tonight, Lord, asking for wisdom, guidance. Lord, we continue to pray for our county, our nation, a lot of things happening at our national level. Lord, we know you're in charge, but we pray that your will be done and that this will be concluded soon. Lord, I pray for those in our county that are facing many issues and problems. And we recognize the sports world tonight too, Lord, as they mourn loss. Be with us as we go through our business tonight, Lord. See us safely home. Anything that we do, we'll praise your name for it. Amen. Our first order of business tonight is to approve the minutes from, we have meetings on December 16th of 19 and then January 6th of 2020. All board members were present, so if you'd like to do that together, we can entertain a motion to approve both of those sets of minutes.
So moved, Chair.
I have a motion and a second to approve both. Are there any questions or comments about this too? Seeing none, we'll start with Commissioner Allen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, we have business involving guest groups or multiple visitors. Tonight we do have, Miss Ida here, we do have a guest. We're going to, after tonight, we won't call her a guest. We have Miss Carol Knight, our new agriculture and natural resources agent. Is that fair to say? Most of you probably recognize that as the county extension agent in earlier times, but it's better now. So I'll if you want to come forward here at the podium, or if you want to stand, whatever your pleasure is. Carol, I'd love for you to introduce yourself. You can do it right there if you like.
Okay, sure. So my name is Carol Knight, and I started here right after the first of the year on January 2nd, and so I am taking Adam Spears, who held that position previously. Adam and I were colleagues. I have a pretty long history in extension. I've about 13 years with extension. I came up here from Bullitt County, so I was in the Statesboro area. So we're really excited. My husband and my son came with me. We are Comer residents now, and so yeah, we're excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and as always, if the extension office can be of service, please come by and see us.
We appreciate you being here tonight too, and call her early, call her often. And here in a minute, Carol and Susan, I'll give you an opportunity to leave too if you'd like. So we have a couple of items under our chairman's report that I'm going to ask the board to consider adopting a resolution first. This is kind of I won't say a housekeeping item, but it's necessary for us moving forward. We had an election back on November 5th, and we need a resolution from the board tonight declaring the results of the election held on November 5th and for other related purposes. So each of you has a copy of that resolution, and this will allow us to move forward with those items that were on the ballot. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt that resolution.
Motion to approve, Chair.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion on this resolution? All right, seeing none, we'll take a vote here. Commissioner Strickland?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Good, thank you. And I'm gonna take just a moment here. I've got an update. There may be somebody in the room here tonight that would be interested in here. This is the latest update from David Groves with the Veolia at the power plant. This is a weekly update that I get from him. And I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on some of the activities, and this is, I'm gonna read it straight from his update so that I don't stray and compromise anything on it. The Madison plant is currently online at 30 megawatts steady state. The turbine header vent silencer has arrived on site, and piping fabrication is now in progress. The plant will be brought offline this coming Thursday to install the silencer. The DA vent silencer is being fabricated and is scheduled to be shipped by February 7th. We hope to have it installed no later than February 21st. And we also hope to have the quenching system installed on the continuous blowdown vent by that time as well. We're waiting for one last quote from a vendor before proceeding with a permanent dust control chute on the stack out conveyor. And additionally, we are also looking at possibility at possibly installing wind/dust screens at various locations around the fuel yard for additional dust control. A professional noise audit was performed last week, and we expect to receive those results later this week for evaluation. Today, we installed white noise backup alarms on the heavy mobile equipment. These alarms are OSHA compliant and are considered to provide better backup warning while also minimizing the distance that the sound travels due to the broadband spectrum of the actual alarm tone. That's the beeping noise you hear when these vehicles back up. We're also awarding a purchase order to plant 140 trees at various locations around the plant perimeter. Finally, the boiler post-combustion controls tuning continues in an effort to minimize excess air during startup and place the precipitator in service sooner. National Salvage is continuing with relocating their cross-tie grinding operations indoors. A second tipper is expected to be received on site today, with installation commencing next week. And again, I received this, I actually received it this morning. So that's the latest, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. You may or may not have gotten that word, so I wanted to make sure we got it. Okay. Now would be that time that if you chose not to stay, we're gonna open the floor here for statements and remarks from citizens on any of these agenda items. We have 3 agenda items tonight. One is to consider an additional $1,500 salary contribution for the administrative assistant position at the county extension office. The other item is consider a salary increase for Chief Appraiser Robin Baker. And the last one is to consider 2020 qualifying fee and resolution for a county surveyor. So with that, I'll open the floor for comments. I'll ask you to keep it to 3 minutes, and only on these 3 items at this time. Commissioner Dalton, man, I promoted you.
I've been called, I'm not working.
There you go, okay.
One come talk to me tonight, there's a line item number 6. Robin back, and y'all know, Rob and I have a pretty close relationship. We worked together since I took office here. Before I was over tax commissioner, I was a appraiser for years. And it's basically a thankless job. Every one of y'all has constituents that call and complain about that office on a probably weekly basis. You know, property values or something that nobody's ever satisfied with. thankless job, but the fact of the matter is, that- and I left y'all a copy of our ratios back 2010, okay? And if you look at those ratios, that's the main indicator you have, as to whether you have a viable appraisal office or not, okay? Now, back in the moratorium days, you had a lot of the 41, 42s, 40 percentiles because office was pretty much hamstrung. You had to hold those values for 3 years, so all your appraisal work was done basically by the state level, okay? But if we look at the ratios we've rolled in over the last 8, 9, 10 years, everything's been well below that 40 percentile, which shows you that in certain strategy, you're probably still a little bit under a sale, okay? And it's not just doing sales qualifications and stuff like that. They have to build schedules. They have to look at material and what it costs per square foot to build a certain house and then apply it to whatever strategy they're working on, you know. And while it is true that a house in Hull, Georgia will probably sell from one, you know, from more than one up on 281 up where I'm at, the 204's cost the same, okay? So everything they do, talking to contractors, pulling in stuff, is all designed to be as close as they can to be, you know. I mean, it's just a hard job. We've never had an audit that we didn't pass from the Department of Revenue, okay? When I go to Atlanta and take the digest to get the bills out, I have Robin Baker right beside me, okay? And there's never been a single time we didn't fail to get a consent order. And there's been times we had to scramble a little bit and pick up a little bit here, a little bit there to do it. But this year, Department of Revenue came to us. They came down here and didn't work, and we had the consent order quicker than we ever had. And I would just ask, from a personal standpoint, besides our friendship, our professional relationship and everything, you have a known quantity in Robin Baker, okay? And any issues you may have with him, he's one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. He don't put himself out there. He won't talk like I do or anything like that. But he will address any issue anybody has with him anytime, you know, just, and I know in the course of things, all work day jobs are pretty busy and all like that, but just tell him, you know, go and talk to him, make an effort, you know, and it's just a pleasure to work with him. He's an asset. If you were to list, comprise the list of the most important people to the county, he's up close to the top of that list right there, because it all starts with him. He's got a full staff for the first time in years. They're going out and doing a lot of field work. They're being seen out in the county. Another indicator is if you look at the appeal history over the last 5 or 6 years, you know, we only had a couple hundred appeals every year. And not saying that there aren't issues out there, and he'll tell you himself, when you look at that many parcels, there's mistakes. You know, we work on stuff every week. If I come across something that I'm not sure about, I take it down there to him, he does the research on it, and we do ACOs and releases, we do whatever's necessary to take care of the taxpayer. The thing that probably doesn't get bandied about enough is the digest belongs to these people right here, it belongs to the people in the county, it's their money. Even when it goes to the Board of Education, Board of Commissioners, IDA, it's the taxpayers' money. And you gotta have special people to take care of that and good stewards of it. And I just believe by my heart that he is. And I would appreciate any consideration you can give in this matter for Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
Anybody else have a statement or remark on those 3 items? All right, well, we'll continue moving on. Our first item of business tonight is an old business item, and this is when we met during our budget discussions, there was a request for an additional, actually, I don't think it was during our budget, this was subsequent to our budget discussions, but it was brought before the board to ask for consideration for $1,500 increase in the administrative assistant's position. This was at the conclusion of Ms. Ann Turkle's employment here. She retired at the end of the year, and the university came back with a request. So the board, in theory, had approved or they had discussed that. You each have a document that shows kind of a breakout of the pay. And I'll be honest with you, I had to look at it a little bit to figure it out, and I didn't figure it out. I asked a question. You'll see that top line up there, the 1945. And all this does, this represents roughly 5 months of salary at the approved salary contribution by Madison County for this position. So Madison County's total contribution to that position is $4,700, and what you see is 5 months, is they're on a through June 30th fiscal year, so that's how those numbers are broken out. They're 5-month totals. So I just wanted you to see the numbers as they.
So this is basically, we haven't had someone starting in that position for 23 years, and so when you bring the starting pay up of 23 years, we haven't needed to bring the pay up. Is that
Right.
basically what we're doing?
The position over those 23 years, it did increase incrementally over time, but at the starting rate, as opposed to going back to the original. This is their opportunity to increase that. So, and again, the total on that was about $1,500 for salary, and the associated withholding FICA, and you'll see a TRS contribution in there as well. So, what they're looking for tonight is approval. And they will be advertising for that position. And at that, I'll open the floor for entertaining motion on that item.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on that item?
Point of order, does the agenda need to be clarified? This is an additional 1,500.
Well, and it was, the addition, the salary contribution was 1,500. What it resulted in was the ancillary, the additional withholding, that whatever came with that proportionally. And I don't have that broken out. You see the totals for the 5 months, but a portion of that $2,500 listed at the bottom is the rate increase, the salary increase for 5 months, FICA for 5 months, teacher's retirement for 5 months. So I didn't break it out that way, but it's the associated cost as a result of the $1,500 salary contribution. So if we want to make the motion to consider an additional $1,500 salary plus associated or okay. Sure, just to get it in the record. So the motion is to approve an additional $1,500 salary contribution annually and the associated withholding. I have amended first and second motion. All right, now any other comments or discussion? And that's a good point. That's valid. We're showing up $1,500, but it's actually the absolute is more than that. So, all right. Any further discussion? Commissioner Bettis?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Item number 6 is to consider a salary increase for Chief Appraiser Robin Baker. And the amount that was mentioned in the previous discussion was approximately $4,423.28 annually.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve in a second. Any discussion on that increase? All right, Commissioner Kirk?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Now to our last business item. Consider 2020 qualifying fee and resolution for county surveyor. Again, each of you has a copy of that resolution. Qualifying fee for county surveyor, for those who may not know it, is $10. But I understand there may be an election on that this year, so, or a choice, so we, again, need to approve the fee of $10 and to approve the resolution to establish that $10 pursuant to the Georgia code listed there on the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve that resolution, the fee in the resolution. Any comment or discussion?
I just want to make one comment. We laid our longtime county surveyor to rest today, Mr. J. Wood.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, long time.
My dad just wanted a bush axe for him, and you did too.
I did.
I did too. You did too.
I'm not gonna hold it against him either.
Back when surveying was a while.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. The vote is to Commissioner Doster.
Yes.
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 All right. Any road updates? Anything that I can pass along? We've had a lot of rain and they're back out doing some grading now, so.
Talked to Derek, they've got, Lake Deerfield, and they finally got it, and, there's a lot of dirt roads, they're getting around scraping, so it just takes time to get around, so they're getting there, so appreciate their hard work.
My biggest thing, dirt roads are all pitted out. The ones that have been scraped recently are the worst.
I had a couple of things, or a couple of items we brought my attention in regard to roads, or one question or one comment was, any response from the state on, a request for them to look at, the McClellan, part of North 72 intersection?
I have not heard back from them. I can follow up. We have local points of contact, but they have not offered us anything.
And then, I had a couple people approach me, and some of them I saw in my home, potentially for some signage, maybe some chevrons, ask the road department to look at that. Specifically on Salt Passing Road, right at that heavy curve, in Edwards, just outside, or just inside the county line. It's pretty dark in the curve right there. And then Shoal Creek Road, there's a heavy curve, about a 90-degree, almost a 90-degree hairpin turn almost. Just look at that, or just have road department please look at that and see where it's.
What was the last grade?
Shoal Creek Road. Just to see if there was some proper attention can be placed to that if it's warranted.
Got it. Anybody else?
And just a question, is the state also looking at Rogers Mill and 98, that intersection?
Not to my knowledge. I know we've had a couple of bad accidents there. I don't know if one of them was, I don't know if they were caused or if the determination was due to, the intersection or if it was just something. I can, when I'm talking to them about Foot McClellan, Hardeman, Morris, we'll ask you a question about that.
We will be doing construction on Rogers Mill, maybe we coordinate something, if there's somebody to do that.
Yeah, it's just that it is sort of a bad hill there.
Yeah.
Coming over, and I know some of the circumstances may not be as bad as the 72, but
Right.
that we should look at.
I'll certainly, I'll ask them. Anything else? Any urgent matter? All right. We'll ease into statements and remarks from citizens, and again, I'll ask that you limit your comment to 3 minutes. And then, while we would love to entertain each person an opportunity to speak, we'll take as many as we can in a reasonable amount of time. And we have more business to conduct after that. So At this point, what I'll do is I'll open the floor up for statements and remarks, and that could be on any topic at all, so.
I'm Greg Saunders, I live in I-591 for the opportunity to talk to you. I'm here as part of the Madison County Clean Power Coalition. And what I want to point out before I read these proposals, I think you all received a copy of the proposals from us to review and get an idea how you feel about them. These aren't my proposals, and they're not just the coalition proposals. These have been compiled from the meetings we've had and people we've talked to, and these are some of the things that citizens have been concerned about and would like to see done to make it feel like they have a better place in the county that they're being listened to. So I'm gonna read through these. I timed this. I think I can get in my 3 minutes. If I don't, you can stop and have somebody take over to read the last part of it.
Very good.
But understand, these are requests, we're not demanding, we just want the board's involvement. That the BOC pass a resolution demanding the GRP stop burning treated railroad ties and honor the statements made to local leaders in 2017 that no treated wood would be burned at that facility. That the BOC pass an ordinance prohibiting the burning or chipping of treated railroad cross ties by any commercial industry or businesses. That the BOC, and we've asked for this one before, and we'll continue to ask for it, call a special meeting with the Georgia Renewable Power being the only topic discussion at the meeting. The citizens of Madison County deserve the opportunity to be heard and answered by their elected officials. That the BOC adopt a resolution recognizing that Madison GRP plant has adversely affected the health and quality of lives of citizens near the plant, that biomass plants like GRP pose health risks, and that the county will do everything it can to keep the citizens of Madison County safe. That the BOC reverse their August 26, 2019 decision to exclude industries from the noise ordinance. The change removed one of the ways a citizen can try to correct a noise problem. Every complaint deserves an equal chance and opportunity to be resolved without one side having the local government protecting them. That the BOC hire an accredited environmental laboratory acceptable by MCCPC to perform air, water, land testing and hire professional services to help solve the problems of noise and light. We suggest that the BOC set aside a portion of their yearly tax revenues from Madison GRP to pay for these services. That the BOC create a Citizens Environmental Committee, which would study the environmental impact of future industries proposing to come to the county and report back to the BOC. The committee's information would help the county decide which industries are the best fit for Madison County. Madison County has many professionals who would gladly sit on such a committee. That the BOC work with the tax department to evaluate the decrease in property values within 5 miles of the plant and provide tax relief for those property owners affected. That the BOC restructure its working relationship with the Industrial Development Authority. The IDA should have a hand in developing projects that will benefit the county. However, there should be oversight and approval by an elected body like the BOC, not just by an appointed board like the IDA. Then, that the executive director of the IDA should be a person who has the best interest of all the citizens of Madison County as his or her first concern when developing future projects. If and when the opportunity to appoint a new executive director comes, this qualification, the interest of all the citizens of Madison County, should be your #1 priority when deciding to fill that position. I think I got that in my 3 minutes.
You did when you started reading at 10. I'll give you the extra minute, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Well, of course there's something else. Good evening, I am Gina Ward. I live at 1709 Wagoners Road, Church Road, 7/10 of a mile from GRP. I brought something to you this evening. I'm not making any demands of you, except that you give it a try, may I? What I am handing to you is the beginnings of our petition protest. We, the people of Madison, Franklin, and Oglethorpe counties and all impacted communities, call upon Georgia Renewable Power, LLC, to stop burning and processing railroad ties at the Franklin County and Madison County biomass power plants. Creosote and other poisons in railroad ties are known to cause serious health problems when burned. We also call upon our county leadership to support us in this request. What I just handed to Commissioner Doster is a list of 2,333 signatures on our online petition and our handwritten petition. Out of that 2,333 signatures, over 950 of those are Madison County residents. In addition to that, over 261 of those are Athens residents. So over half of our petition signers currently are just Athens and Madison County. Those numbers do not include our surrounding communities of Oglethorpe, Franklin, Winterville, everybody that's just right outside of our area. And we are petitioning. We want everybody to get on board with this and write their name and own a piece of this. I wanted to share with you a few things that came from our change.org petition. People are allowed to comment when they sign the petition, which, you know, I love to comment, so this was a great thing. I enjoyed reading them. I'm going to read my favorites first. From Comer, Georgia. I have smelled the burning of these cross ties in Comer. It burns your eyes and throat. This is not good for anyone. Halbert. I am signing this for my children's health. Comer. I have COPD and am on oxygen and moved to the country to get out of the pollution, only to be in a worse situation. Please stop poisoning our land. Colbert. Clean air and water is a right of all citizens. This one's my favorite. Athens, Georgia. Y'all know you shouldn't, and your mama would be mad. Just stop it. It is not good for anyone.
9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Got time for one more.
Athens, Georgia. This plant lied to the people of Madison County. I will leave these with you. I highlighted my favorites and the ones that I thought were effective, just to share with you what we're doing.
You're good.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm Bruce Standy, and I live with my wife Betsy Kaplan in Homer, Georgia. And Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I know you are well aware of the controversy about burning railroad ties. I think you've heard some of that already. I had an opportunity to speak briefly with my commissioner, Commissioner Doster, and I'm convinced that all of you are taking steps to address the citizens' concerns. Creosote was banned in the European Union in 2003, and until the 9th of March 2016, Environmental Protection Agency did not allow it as a fuel here in the United States. Once federal protections were gone, many states now have laws that prohibit burning creosote as a fuel. Why did Europe and the other states ban creosote? They did so because creosote is a poison. It is a danger to what is important to them. They did it to protect their way of life. We should also do it to protect what is important to Madison County and its people. Madison County is a treasure trove. Our county is blessed with fertile land, temperate climate, and as we all can bear witness, plentiful rainfall. Just look at the growth potential in the beef and poultry industries. By becoming a hazardous waste disposal site that will damage the growth of agribusiness. The water pipeline you approved and for which the county taxpayers help finance is an important investment that should be protected. It not only provides water for what was originally billed as a clean wood burning biomass plant, but clean water also promotes the coming expansion of agriculture and residential development in Madison County. The citizens before you are only asking you, our county leaders, to seriously investigate the Georgia Renewable Power Plant byproducts and any potential harm they may cause. We cannot rely on the state or federal government to protect us. I trust you will continue to defend what is important to us, our health, our families, our animals, our crops, and our future rural way of life here in Madison County. Thank you very much.
My name is Harriet Gray. I live at 9004 Nowhere Road. You all ran as Republicans. That's how you got elected. Right away you raised property taxes. My neighbor, a Republican, spoke at the meeting and he said, I wish I could sell my property for what it's appraised for, but I did. He spoke of inequities and reassessments. You didn't want to hear it. You weren't really Republicans, you're tax and spend bureaucrats. When people showed up to support your belief, they left convinced that you had already made up your minds before that meeting had even started. And when the people of Colbert tried to tell you GRP is endangering their health and their property value, you wouldn't even put them on the agenda. You continue to be shameless apologists for GRP. Canola Scott has said it best. We have to help the people in Colbert because they are our neighbors. Helping them also protects us. The Lung Association, the CDC, and others have warned that burning creosote endangers public health. Tiny particles carried by the wind become embedded in lung tissue. These threaten people in Madison and the surrounding counties who are otherwise not directly affected by the stench or the soot or the racket. When third world nations told American companies to stop dumping toxins on penalty of death, they moved to U.S. cities with shrinking tax bases. When urban voters recognized the danger and threw them out, they started looking for elected officials in rural counties who were gullible, lazy, ignorant, and potentially corruptible. They found
You're not suggesting that's us, are you?
You're not supposed to comment on that.
Well, actually, no ma'am, hang on, hold that thought. I'll pause your time. But I'll tell you what you can't do. I can take the balance of your time if you want to be insultant, though. You can say, you can.
Potentially. I didn't say.
I just asked you if that's who you were referring to.
Frank Hill not only persuaded you to locate a toxic waste dump in Madison County, he got you to pay him to do it. You gave him a salary running the industrial authority. Frank's also collecting his Senate salary, and it's anybody's guess what GRP may have offered him. Don't pause about filing for re-election. You can forget running for the policy. You have shown that you're really not fit to govern. We have to start looking past party labels. Character, integrity, honesty, and public service matter. You are living proof that Republican doesn't mean what it comes to. We need to vote for the best person.
Your time's up now.
Thank you.
My name's Chip Chandler from Carlton. Wasn't planning on speaking tonight. I think I've talked to a lot of y'all about this particular issue. So I'm going to talk about something different, a little different. I disagree with some recent statements here because I think that everybody that comes up here for the best they can. I have yet to see that proven otherwise. When I found out about from somebody in Elbert County that we were going to be burning frost ties, I made a couple calls that day, that hour, and I called 2 IDA members, I called 2 commissioners, and I called 2 people that work at the plant. They all said, we're not going to burn cross ties. Several of those conversations were in person. I was looking at those people in the eye. They did not lie to me, or I'm mistaken in 60 adult plus years of learning how to read people. They did not know either. I supported that plant coming because we're in the timber business. I thought it was good for the county. I thought there's going to be some downsides. I heard that there was going to be noise in the beginning that was going to ameliorate itself later. I didn't know, of course we didn't know about frost ties and things. I don't want to get off on that. But what I do want to say is that until you absolutely know, until a person absolutely knows otherwise, it's probably best to assume that the people you're working with are working in good faith. And that's what I have to say. Thanks.
Hello. I'm Dave Ramsey. I live at Roger Church Road, District 1. And I wanted to speak specifically to the coalition's request for rescinding part of the ordinance that was changed regarding noise. And the reason I'd like to do that is because I was looking up some things about noise pollution and so forth, and I came across the Geneva Convention. And I realized from reading the Geneva Convention that if the people that live near the plant were prisoners of war, they would be subjected to a war crime. Because if you look at the Geneva Convention, and you see articles regarding noise, and I'm going to quote what said. The court that ruled on the treatment of some prisoners who were subjected to noise under the Articles of the Convention ruled that noise of a continuous, loud, and hissing nature intended to deprive the detainees of war of sleep is cruel and inhumane punishment, thus meeting the definition of torture. And I thought back to a few meetings ago when Mrs. Kasanovich played a recording for all of you of what she was hearing 1.5 miles away from the plant. And I think you were here, all of you were here to hear that recording. But that loud hissing noise is exactly what the court was referring to. And the decibel level, she said, was in the 70s. The court said it couldn't be any higher than 79. So I do believe that even though our citizens aren't prisoners of war, they're prisoners in a way because they're imprisoned in their home that have to listen to that sound. And I believe that's cruel and inhumane punishment. And I would like to see that you would at least rescind that part of the ordinance so that we would have redress if something like that occurs to us.
My name is John Norton. I live at 9004 Nowhere Road, Hall. I was having a conversation Saturday with another historian friend of mine from where I lived in rural California. And she remarked, "What's going on in your county? Burning cross ties. You can't do that. This is a national disgrace. Shouldn't be. They're laughing at us in other states. Please do something." Thank you.
My name is Dennis Moon. I didn't intend to speak by any means, and I'm speaking for Dennis Moon, not any special interest, nobody else. I'm one of 3 people who are the closest to this plant on Highway 72. I read the signs scattered around. I don't think anything has been said or anything saying shut the plant down. It's the cross-tire Cristo issue that's being debated, okay? And you have facts and figures, Jim just said, that prohibit this. It is for citizens. Now, Commissioner, you read things that they had planned to do. I got a question. Who is policing this to make sure that the plant meets the guidelines set by you, Madison County? Is there someone going to do that? Is a hired agency doing that? I said Franklin County has hired somebody. We need to do that. Can't take their word for it, because their word's no good. They didn't tell us the truth to start with. Okay? All right, I got a poultry farm right there. A lot of people don't like poultry litter. I spread poultry litter on a pasture and other fields according to soil conservation guidelines and the amounts. I have to test the litter, I have to, test the soil, and that's the amounts that I can spread legally. It's offensive, I wouldn't want to live right beside it, nor smell it all day, but I do. It's a common practice for fertilizer in our agricultural community. If that's being, just think of this, if that's being, good guidelines and it's working, how in God's name can you allow Crisco to be shot up in the air, which we know is important? It don't make sense. I think this thing got way out of proportion, and, the plant pulled one over on us. There's no doubt about it. I guess I could ask the question is, when did we, as citizens or the commissioners, know, at what point in time, ask you this thing, what point in time were you told that Crisco cross tires would be burned? I haven't heard that statement. Is there, anybody know? I don't think they said, but I think that needs to be told to the people of the county. And, I'm not against what the plant's trying to do. They're trying to lower our energy bill. They're trying to get rid of waste, and that's a great thing. But I understand this was program started like this back during the Obama administration. Our previous governor may have signed off on things to allow this, that maybe he shouldn't have. That's hearsay, it's not fact, I don't have the facts. I think that started and happened back in those days, not in the last 2 to 3, 4 years. A tremendous amount of money being thrown at these facilities through the federal government to promote biomass, energy. And so, I like to consider the 3 things that I pointed out to you, and, let us know. Put it in the paper, let us know what they're doing. Who's gonna measure it? And, like I said, I'm not against the plant. I live inside it, well, my farm is right there adjoining the property. I see it, all day long, smell it all day long, and it's quite, when they do the Crisco deal, and maybe do it, another guy told me they're doing it at night when nobody would be around and they would smell it. So they got ways of, getting around the corner there to do what they wanna do. But we need a way to measure this and police it and apply the proper, fines or whatever, should they be in violation with the Crisco. That's all I got, that's the only thing I got a problem with, is during Crisco. Okay? Thank you.
About 9 more minutes, we'll keep going here. Anybody else?
My name is Ruth Ann Tasanovich, and I live at 959 Highway 172, Colbert. I wasn't planning to speak either. However, I was very interested in the update you gave Mr. Scarborough. Thank you for giving us an update on GRP's plans to put some of these improvements in. But I was quite surprised, because in early December, I know that David Gross told my husband they were going to get this extension for the chute that would stop some of those fugitive emissions from blowing around. And I believe in your January 16th letter that was in the paper, Mr. Scarborough, I'm not sure what you said the plan was for that, but I keep waiting for it to appear. And today I drove over to the plant. I'm hoping it'd be there. And it's really windy, and those black chips and the dust is just blowing all over. They're going to the farmer's field still. It was really horrible. The other thing, the trees. I know you mentioned in your January 16th letter they'd hoped to be planting those by last Friday. Because I made a note on my calendar. And now I hear they're only just awarding a PO. And also that National Salvage was gonna move the shipping operation indoors by the end of last week. Well, they were out there cleaning up. In fact, they were out there in the rain last Friday, shoveling chips in the rain. And I thought, oh, they're really, looks like it's all cleaned up. They're really moving it inside. And today I went by there when I was looking at the chips blowing in the wind on the big pile. They're out chipping again. I think they maybe cleaned it up because we were having a protest. Maybe they thought the TV stations were coming. It's just like I'm confused about about it, because they don't follow through with what they say. And I'm gonna back up Mr. Moon. We need to have a third party. We've mentioned a professional noise audit. They shouldn't be auditing themselves. Like this morning, I'm out on my porch again at 5 o'clock. I made another recording. I didn't bring it here. But it was really noisy. So it seems to be noisier at night. Maybe it's the sound travels. But they can tell a professional auditor to come there and make a recording next week when they shut the plant down. You know, I just think we should be monitoring the bike rate. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elisa Clater. I live on Eugene Harmon Road in Danielsville, Georgia. I was happy to hear that the plant has made promises to you. I certainly hope that you all will keep their feet to the fire and make sure they've done it. But hearing that they've ordered a second indoor creosote chipper just didn't sound like they were planning on stopping burning the railroad ties. And that's just not acceptable. We don't want to poison our people, and I want to believe, I want to sleep every night thinking that you people didn't plan this, that y'all weren't trying to thin us out. So please hold their feet to the fire, look after us, and tell them to stop burning those ties. And the change of the noise ordinance, that's important. That chicken houses might spread litter, but they're not making that same kind of noise all night.
You have time for one more?
I do.
My name is Mark Davis. Jennifer, my wife, and I live 747 Madison Street in Comer. And I am a retired Johnson & Johnson employee. Been with production and the warehouse, and I'm qualified to ship and receive hazardous materials, any three means of transportation in this country and air and the rest of the world. I want to make a statement that the GRP is not a good neighbor. Johnson & Johnson goes out of its way to be a good neighbor. They have a safety department that enforces national regulations, state regulations, and our own in-house regulations. We return water to Clark County cleaner than we got it. We have scrubbers on every production building. And when we had a problem with noxious fumes and odors, Johnson & Johnson decided to ship them out for recycling and keep them off site. Johnson & Johnson is a good neighbor. Noxious fumes and inhalation hazards are being emitted in the air and submitted to the land and to the water. And I don't know what GRP is thinking. We're a community here. We have churches, we have schools, we have businesses, and we have residents that work in this county and out of the county. And I just don't understand how this can be going on and so many people object to it and they're still there. That burning creosote is wrong. It has been wrong, it is wrong, and will be wrong in the future. There has to be another way to deal with some company's problem of manufacturing, delivering, and recycling, and burning, and making money at every step of the way. It seems like they're in it at our expense. Now, I'm a two-time Marine Corps veteran, and we had a saying about how fast should a unit move. Well, a Marine Corps unit is the same as this community. We have everything with us. How fast do we go? As fast as the slowest man, because we have to all get there together. This community has to get to the same place at the same time, safely. And GRP is a tripping hazard. We're not going any faster than they are. And they're attracting a lot of negative attention. Thank you.
Scott Edwards. I live at 361 Kings Ferry Road, Comer, Georgia, down by the Broad River. And I didn't think this was gonna be an issue that got close to me that I was gonna have to worry so much about. But I get a call the other day from a neighbor, and he wants to share with me some information. Something he observed on the road, and would like to show me something. So we drive up the road, and he said, "This is the ash from the bottom of the plant being dumped on this farm." And so we got in a four-wheeler and we rode around his backside of his farm through beautiful bottoms, and we got out on his neighbor's land, which we had permission to go on, and we walked right up to the property line, which was probably within 100 feet of the property line, and probably within 150 feet of the headwaters of the creek that runs through his farm. And I wanna know what's gonna be done to prevent any more, road dumping in the future with this plant, because the bottom ash has got to go somewhere, but that don't seem like the place it should go, because it's gonna be in the creek, especially after the rain on Friday. Thank y'all very much.
Don't make me wait for the last one here.
I got 1 minute. 1 minute. Heard a lot about GRP tonight. I agree with everything you said, but I have another concern that I'd like you all to maybe address. I read in the paper somewhere that said that the agenda was for county business. Well, this is not county business. I don't understand what it is. I think that you all need to reconsider or think about how people can get on the agenda and express their concern, particularly when it comes to the health and safety of the citizens of Madison County. The only reason that you got all these folks here tonight is because they didn't get on the agenda, so they just decided to come at the end and force everyone on. That shouldn't be. This is a county for the people. You are elected and hired by the people to do their business. So please, I'm asking, don't shut them out. Let them have their say. Thank you.
Last call here.
Okay, thank you. My name's Leanne Jones. I live at 147 South 4th Street in Colbert. It was a total dump whenever I bought it. 1910 home that had been a rental since approximately the 60s. My first home purchase, my mom thought I'd lost my mind, but I saw the vision, and I saw the potential, and my partner and now husband, but we worked our butts off, and in addition to my parents being right there alongside us, painting the walls, patching the holes, roof, windows, HVAC, you name it. I've funneled a lot of money into it. Had no idea that we were going to be faced with the situation at hand. And then late last year, I was diagnosed with a rare and incurable pulmonary disease. And it's to the point now where I'm having to have repeat lung function tests at least every 4 to 6 months. I'm having repeat CT scans to make sure that they have the baseline in comparison to how it's progressing. The only treatments, because of its rarity, and as a side note, there was an influx of diagnoses of this particular disease called sarcoidosis, by the way, after 9/11 with a lot of the first responders. So they've been able to deduce that it has to do with your exposure to inorganic harmful particulate matter. Roughly 11 people out of every 100,000 get diagnosed with it, so we really hit the jackpot on that. They also think that there's some genetic predisposition at hand, but they're just not sure. But what I'm sure of is that living a mile away from the fugitive dust emissions, the practice of burning creosote in general is not a great place for me to be. But I bought this home to be my forever home. If and when we decide to have children, that's where we wanted to raise them. We got married in the backyard last October because that's how much this house means to us. It has our literal blood, sweat, and tears in it, and I can't help but feel like there's been a price tag put on my head. And now I'm looking at, well, sell, maybe I get what I put into it back out of it, and give up this dream that I've been working towards for over 4 years now, or stay and just see what happens and have good faith that this isn't going to stick around. And those are really crappy choices to choose from. But I just visited with my pulmonologist last week, and he asked me, how quickly can you move? So that's all I really have to say. Thank you for your time.
Statements and remarks now from the commissioners. If the commissioners would like to make a remark.
I'll start. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Appreciate everybody's concern and comments, and whether you think we're doing the right thing or not. That's for you to decide. In regards to the topic at hand on the power plant, I wrote down some various comments that I want to share tonight, so I wouldn't trip over myself trying to do it on the fly. Not only have I heard from various residents, community members, and I've spent numerous hours writing, looking, listening, smelling from various locations, vantage points surrounding the neighboring area. It's become apparent to me that the impacts from the plant are different related to your distance, weather, topography, daily activities, and other numerous conditions that are variable in nature and uncontrollable. Patiently waited over time and hopeful that things will be better from the transition from startup to full operations. And I recognize the chairman tonight where GRP has stated that certain efforts help to minimize the plant effects surrounding our neighbors and to reduce concerns. And I'll share with real or perceived health concerns. Some are real and some are we don't know the data on it. However, I'm not satisfied that enough has been done to date regarding air quality. And I'm still not clear on what actions the plant causes the noxious smell, the storage of mass materials, the grinding of the materials, where it aerates it or puts it out, the emissions, posted burning, something else that may be on site, or some other processing feature that I'm unfamiliar with. However, or with the knowledge that EPD has permitted the emissions in this limited by volume to be cross-tied by 20%, it would seem plausible that the plant can operate without this fuel source, and it seems like it's the only variable that can quickly be addressed or eliminated. Therefore, with the support of this body, I request an appropriate staff and departments review, recommend the best course of action, and a proper resolution or ordinance to reduce or eliminate potential health concerns regarding the impacts of burning creosote rail ties. And I request this by our next voting meeting. I realize this will take a concentrated effort from the possible code enforcement, from the sheriff's department, from the chairman's office, from our county attorney, possibly our IDA, our magistrate court, our state elected officials, our state EPD, and if needed, potentially the attorney general's office. I'm not sure what it needs to take to do the proper justice on an ordinance or a resolution regarding thereof. But I want to be diligent in our approach and thoughtful from beginning now through our execution, so I can have a better understanding of what we can and cannot do. Either way, my fear is any lack of movement at this time to somehow move towards that end game somehow may prohibit us in the future to take formidable action if needed. I want to be responsive to the community but I want it to be a well-versed position from this board. Thank you.
Standing ovation.
I second that. Everyone here tonight, I want to say thank you for coming. I spoke or not, I know most of you are here because of the GRP. I'm sorry, I've told several of you already, that doesn't really do anything for you, but I just want you to know that I'm sorry that you're going through this stuff. I'm over in District 1 with Mr. David, and don't think that District 1 is just leaving you out high and dry. When we started, when this was all being discussed, they said that construction scraps and pallets were going to be their main fuel source. I feel like, as a colleague of mine in Franklin County said, I do feel like we were deceived a little bit when they started burning these railroad ties. I know when you build houses and someone's had railroad ties out, a lot of times they'll make you seal the house and the foundation and things like that. And I just echo what Mr. Doster said, is, why can't they stop that? Find these other sources that they said they were gonna have. Let's take care of our community and over any kind of tax dollars.
That's right.
Lamar brought in the check just to let know everybody that we did get paid. He had no inclination that people would think that, we were touting $1.68 million in taxes like that was better than any one person in this audience or over there near that plant. That is not the case. It hurts my heart to hear people think that way. And if they think that way, that's fine, and I understand the passion, I understand the concern. But just know that we all five of us up here, as commissioners, we want to do what's right for the entire county. District 1 elects me, but that doesn't mean I don't work for all of you. So I just wanted to commend Commissioner Doster for his actions tonight, echo what he says, and he has my full support with that. Please keep the emails and the comments. If I can just be a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for that too. Don't ever think that you guys are holding us up or you shouldn't talk, because, like Canola said, he's right. We do work for you guys. We're all pro-Constitution about Second Amendment and First Amendment and all that stuff, but, we all are, for the people, by the people. And so I just, it's all words coming at you right now, and hopefully our actions will follow so you can get some trust and get you guys situated and sorted.
I had to write these things down because I tend to get a little too colorful sometimes. There's been a long time push for industry in Madison County, and we know we need that to offset the tax burden on our homeowners. GRP could have been that, and it still can be that, but we don't need it at the expense of our health.
That's right.
One life is not worth $1.6 million. By any means. We were sold the idea of green energy, and if you Google green energy, you get sunlight, wind, rain, tides, plants, algae, geothermal heat to reduce the dependence of coal, oil, and natural gas. Biomass, its definition is recently living natural materials like wood waste and sawdust, leaving less of a carbon footprint than petroleum-based fuel sources. What is creosote? A dark brown oil distilled from coal tar. And so what are we accomplishing there? This is not a party issue. I've heard that mentioned. I don't think any of my children have declared party affiliation yet.
That's right.
But it's not just the people around that, it's the people all over the county. We're in between Carnesville and Colbert. Madison County, we got bookends. We were told it was gonna be clean energy. We were told it was gonna help the Cutwood folks. This pallets, as he said, I think the question was asked when we knew they were gonna burn railroad ties, it was when it showed up. When we were told, hey, you're seeing all those. We've tried to work with them, we've tried to be reasonable. But when it comes down to it, we haven't been told the truth. Actions have not been taken fast enough. And it's time for us to take a stance. Because we don't know if those actions will ever come about. So, I'm here to say it as a commissioner, as a county resident, as a father, whether it's air pollution, the dumping of ash, wastewater, or biosludge. If I have anything to do with it, it will not be permitted in this county.
All right.
I'm not gonna take much time because I agree with all the things that said. I wasn't originally here on the board when this was first presented. I don't know what was told as far as what was gonna be burnt there. I just know that I didn't come aware of that creosote was gonna be, ties were gonna be burnt until just recently. That is something that the federal government has allowed, something that's evidently the state government has allowed. And I'm all for resolutions, I'm looking at what we can do. But, this is gonna be, we're gonna have people at the state level and the federal level that's gonna see it much differently. So, I can see that, we could be in for, some challenges as we address this. I do believe, which everybody says that GRP or the folks weren't forthcoming at exactly with what they were gonna do, and I've come to see that, I think. I think that hopefully the plant can be as such that it can provide for the community and it can be something that's safe, and that the air quality issues, the sound issues, and those can be taken care of. But, right now we have a situation that we can't wait on them to just sort of, as I think Terry put it, sort of plod it along. We've got to go ahead and take some initiative in this. There's other additional issues, and I would like to thank the coalition for getting some facts together. Recently, as Scotty Edwards has brought to the attention tonight, there was some ash being dumped, and hopefully it's not being dumped. It should not be being dumped over on 172. That issue was brought to light. The sheriff's department took initiative to go over there, even had drones flying and taking pictures and those kind of things. And the EPD has been, who is, controls these things, and the agriculture department's been over there. They've come back and said that this has got to be cleaned up. Supposedly the facility over there is a waste management facility. But if it is a waste management facility, I don't know that they understand exactly, how they should manage that, because obviously they don't have a permit, and it didn't look like, from my perspective and what I have gleaned, that they're doing a very good job of managing the waste in such a way that is legal. So hopefully that issue will be, that dumping will be stopped, and that, and that's not, I don't want to imply that that's directly related to GRP. I mean, it is the ash coming from GRP. I'm sure they're trying to get rid of that ash, and I don't know exactly who has made the contracts or such as that to do that. But it is a consequence of the whole situation that we have now. And so, I think that it is appropriate that we investigate and that we, try to understand what we can do as a county, to make sure that, as aptly been said, that we preserve, the air quality. It's not worth the money that we pay in this tax if it's gonna endanger the lives of our citizens. And whether that be near the plant, over on 172, or any other spot in the county, that we have these issues. You know, another issue that we have in the county is this, that I deal with in District 4, is this biosludge thing that they dump on land. That's permitted by the county. That's permitted by the Agriculture Department of the state of Georgia. Oglethorpe County sued the state of Georgia about it. Oglethorpe County law said that the county could not, make an ordinance to prevent that from happening. We have it happening in Madison County right now. Sometimes I feel like our hands are tied. I hope that as we go into this GRP issue with the creosote, that we don't find ourselves in the same kind of conditions that where we find ourselves, our hands are tied because of what goes on in the state. So I encourage you, not only do you contact us, which I'm sure many of you have already done it, but you start talking to your state officials too. Because they have much more power than we do to address these issues.
They're in session right now.
I'll be short and sweet. When I ran in 2015, I'm a school teacher here. I ran on having a common sense approach to business and community. And this sounded pretty much a common sense facility, clean biomass and bringing tax money. But I just want you to know that you're our friends, you're our constituents, you're our family, you're our neighbors. It's my school children out there. I stand by the people. Thank you, Commissioner Doster, for taking the lead. And we look forward to working together and moving forward so that we can preserve your health and your happiness. Thank you.
I believe we need to go into executive session this evening.
John, before you do, could I say one thing out of order? I just want to thank all of you for letting us hear from you.
So we'll need a motion to enter executive session to discuss. Motion second. Yes. All right. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
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 Yes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned.